On my first day posing as the girlfriend, my client warned me. My uncle's a bit difficult, but don't worry, he usually stays out of my business. I gave him an okay sign. Got it. I won't get stage fright. I took the money, I've got professional ethics. Who knew that the second I saw his uncle's face, I'd immediately turn around to leave. Ryan grabbed me. Where are you going? I know my uncle looks cold and hard to deal with, but I paid you. I wanted to cry but had no tears. I waved him off. You never said your uncle was Paul. Difficult isn't the problem. The problem is, I've been with this man. Take their money, solve their problem. When I heard there was a $20,000 deposit, that he just needed me to fool his family, and there was an $80,000 final payment, I immediately said yes. It's not that I'm bowing to money. I just genuinely enjoy the girlfriend profession. If you can even call it that. My client is a rich kid. He's had a girlfriend since high school, but his family absolutely refuses to approve. So, he wants me to show up as the bad girl first, to make his real girlfriend look pure and sweet by comparison. A little thing like this? I can do it in my sleep. So, today's the first day. I gave myself the full bad girl treatment, heavy smoky eyes, and I even spent $20 on a fake neck tattoo. When Ryan saw me, he gave me a thumbs up. You're a real pro. I flipped my hair, accepting the compliment. Of course. Oh, I almost forgot to ask. Does your girlfriend know about this? I don't need any unnecessary drama. Ryan looked proud. Absolutely. I'm a model boyfriend. I'd never let my girlfriend misunderstand. I don't say stupid shit. Ever. Me, that's good. But for some reason, I felt like that last comment was a little passive-aggressive. Who it was aimed at, I have no idea. There's a song family gathering today. As Ryan drove me to the family estate, he gave me the rundown. The toughest nut to crack is my grandmother. My mom scares easily. One look at you, and she'll accept whoever I bring home next. I pursed my lips in a polite smile. Thanks, I'm flattered. Oh, and there's my uncle. He's extremely difficult. But he usually stays out of my business. He's busy with work, rarely even comes to these things, so don't worry. Bottom line, the main targets today are my parents. I nodded. Understood. An hour-and-a-half drive. I was half asleep. Until a mansion I couldn't afford in 10 lifetimes appeared. I was wide awake. This mansion is your house? It's huge. Yeah. Ryan looked up. Technically, every house in this neighborhood is ours. I was crying tears of envy on the inside. But I had to be difficult. It's nice, but it's so far away. The drive was exhausting. You live on the south side, the estate is on the north side. You're going from one suburb to another, that's why it took so long. Otherwise. Okay, I cut him off. Any more and you're just being rude. I hate rich people. Ryan shut up and shrugged. Let's go. Behind his back, I clutched my chest, soothing my wounded heart. As we reached the main hall, Ryan stopped and waited for me. I snapped into combat mode, strutted over, and linked my arm with his. I'm ready. Ryan grinned, full of mischief. I hope they're ready. He pushed open the door. Curious eyes shot our way. When Ryan's mom saw me holding his arm, she looked like she was going to faint. You little brat, what do you think you're doing? Ryan played dumb. Mom, Dad, what do you mean? You're the ones who said if I had a girlfriend, I had to bring her home for you to meet. You. His mom was too angry to speak. Seeing this, I whispered, no underlying health conditions I should know about, right? Ryan shook his head. Don't worry. Full physicals every 6 months. Healthy as horses. Good. Then it's showtime. I smiled, wide and wild. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Song. I'm Emily. I'm 23. I graduated from the technical college next to the city's top university. Next to the middle school, homeroom 2B. My teacher was Mr. Lee. I held the prestigious positions of class president and music class rep. But, you know, a true hero doesn't brag about the past. I don't like to show off my accomplishments. The Song family was stunned silent, probably having never met someone so shameless. I chuckled. You've probably never met a girl as amazing as me. Don't be intimidated. I'm actually very low-key. My background is complicated. I try not to draw too much attention. Someone in the group asked, "What background?" Right into my trap. I started explaining, I'm a senior fan and reader of a Nobel Prize winner. I was one of the people deeply moved by a national hero. And I participate annually in the multi-billion-dollar cross-platform New Year's profit sharing. But like I said, I rarely show this side of myself to people. Ryan silently gave me a thumbs up and muttered, "All that? You're good." Ha. A single scoff cut the silence. The man who had been sitting in the corner, bored and playing on his phone, had suddenly sat up straight. He was staring right at me. The moment our eyes met, a cold, mortifying chill shot up my spine. I wanted to find a hole to crawl into. Seeing me freeze, Ryan coughed and said, as a reminder, "Uncle." What? That's his uncle? Paul is Ryan's uncle. They barely look different in age. His burning stare felt like it was seeing right through me. Finally, I took 2 steps back and turned to run. Ryan grabbed my arm, shocked. "Where are you going?" "It's all going perfectly." "You're bailing now?" "No, why didn't you tell me your uncle's name was Paul?" "If I had known, I never would have come." Ryan was confused. "What's wrong with my uncle? Do you know him?" "I know he looks scary and is hard to deal with." "But you took the money." I gritted my teeth. This isn't about the money. The problem isn't that he's hard to deal with. It's that I've been with him. Seeing me dead set on leaving, Ryan got desperate. "I'll add another 50,000. No, 100,000. When this is done, I'll make the final payment 180,000. I stopped, took a silent, calming 3-second breath. As if nothing had happened, I linked my arm back through Ryan's. In a voice loud enough for everyone to hear, sickly sweet. "Ryan, you're so good to me. I love you. So much. Your money." Crash. The sound of a glass shattering was sudden. Paul stood up coolly, his movements refined. "Sorry. Slipped. You all chat. I'm going to go clean up." And with that, he walked upstairs. With Paul gone, I was like a fish back in water, working hard to earn the disgust of every Song family member. But they had incredible self-control. Even after all that, they didn't kick me out. They even let me stay for lunch. Albeit because Ryan forced them to. At the lunch table, Paul, who had spent all morning cleaning up, finally came downstairs. And at a massive table, he unerringly chose the empty seat right next to me. Has no one taught him that a good ex keeps their distance? Apparently not. Ryan, on my right, was still deep in his madly in love role. He put a piece of asparagus in my bowl, his voice dripping with affection. "Emily, your favorite vegetable. Eat up." This guy not only adds his own lines, but he gives me asparagus, which I hate. Does he have a grudge against me? Paul, on my left, chuckled. "Why aren't you eating the food he gave you? Not to Ms. Emily's taste?" The already silent table fell into a dead quiet at his words. Everyone stared at Paul, confused as to why he'd suddenly care about his nephew's girlfriend. Ryan, thinking his uncle saw through the act, scrambled to explain. How could it not be to her taste? We've been together so long, I know Emily best. right? Emicham. I nodded. I love asparagus. And to prove it, I forced the piece in my bowl down. I felt like anyone close enough could see the tears welling up in my eyes. Good that you love it, Paul said, his voice icy. He suddenly piled a huge heap of asparagus into my bowl. Please, eat up. We have plenty. My eye twitched. I gritted my teeth. Thank you, Uncle. You're welcome. Was I going to eat it? Of course not. I'm not a masochist. I turned to Ryan on my right. Honey, I'm full. Why don't you eat it? Paul's voice turned cold. Full already? Yep, pretty girls eat like a bird. I didn't care if I was grossing people out. I turned the pout on full blast for Ryan. Please. Aren't boyfriends supposed to finish their girlfriend's leftovers? Ryan finally seemed to catch on. Oh. Right, of course. My bowl was practically untouched, so Ryan just needed to make a show of it. But just as he reached for it, another hand grabbed my bowl first. Paul stood up, and in front of everyone, dumped the contents into the trash. My apologies, Ms. Emily. The Song family doesn't eat leftovers. Me, oh. Then all those leftovers I used to eat must have been for dogs. Weirdo. That afternoon, Ryan secretly found me and said his parents were already showing signs of caving. He told me to keep it up. He even decided I should stay at the estate for a few days. I was shocked. You never said anything about that. Just a few days. Once they're completely sick of you, we'll leave. Ryan put his hands together and bowed. Then, in a couple of weeks, I'll break up with you. A month later, I'll bring my real girlfriend home, and everything will be solved. I'm paying you $200,000. Fine. I bowed to the money again. Okay, but let's be clear. Even if it's an act, we are absolutely not staying in the same room. Ryan crossed his arms. In your dreams. I rolled my eyes. My dreams are prettier. Otherwise, he wouldn't have spent so much money to hire me. The Song family didn't react much to me staying over. Maybe the shock from the day had been enough, and they were just trying to recover. Well, I couldn't let a golden opportunity like this go to waste. So at midnight, I texted Ryan to plug his ears and started my rock-out session. How loud was it? Even I was secretly disgusted by my lack of decency. 15 minutes later, there was a knock on my door. As I went to open it, I was already calculating. If it was a maid, a butler, or one of the Songs about to kick me out, what was the most graceful way to collapse? If they used force, maybe I could even sue for a little extra. I put on my most innocent, punchable smile. Who is it? What's up? The smile vanished the second I saw Paul. What are you doing here? Why'd you stop pretending? Paul raised an eyebrow. Weren't you calling me uncle? Call me uncle again. Are you sick? I looked at him like he was crazy. If you're having an episode, get Ryan to take you to a mental hospital. I'm busy. At the mention of Ryan's name, Paul's eyes darkened, a flash of danger. Don't mention Ryan to me. Oh, you're testing my patience. He's my client, I'll put up with him. But you? You're just an ex, who the hell are you? Ryan, Re. On the sixth Ryan, his hand clamped over my mouth, and he dragged me back into the room, kicking the door shut behind him. I slapped at his arm, signaling him to let go. He must have sensed I couldn't breathe, because he loosened his grip slightly, but his hand stayed over my mouth. Are you trying to murder me? I gasped, sucking in air. I don't know what Paul was thinking. He didn't answer, just looked down at me, his gaze fixed on my face. After a moment, his hand moved. One finger pressed lightly against my lips, then slowly released. My lips, pale from the pressure, slowly regained their color. Paul's gaze darkened. Did you miss me? I was ready to cuss him out, but that question stopped me. It's been so long. Was it appropriate to ask that? More importantly, I'm supposed to be Ryan's girlfriend. I dodged his touch, reminding him of his irrational behavior. We broke up. I didn't agree, Paul said, his voice muffled. A relationship needs two people to agree. A breakup doesn't. Paul silently pulled his hand back, his eyes looking like a deep, unreadable abyss. Why did we break up? This was the question that had haunted him for years. Why did we break up? How could I explain it? Maybe it was to protect my own pitiful pride. Maybe it was because, at the time, I wanted to shut out the entire world, to just be alone. But whatever the reason, what's done is done. It's the middle of the night. What did you come here to say? My expression turned indifferent. Maybe realizing he wouldn't get the answer he wanted, Paul slowly lowered the arm he had braced against the doorframe. He gave a sarcastic smile. Nothing. Just came to remind you, the rest of the family is in the other villa. It's just you, me, and Ryan here right now. So, no matter how loud you play your music, no one else will hear it. Hearing this, my brain short-circuited. So, I just spent half an hour blasting my own eardrums for. What? Am I a masochist? Okay, I get it. I had no interest in reminiscing. I just pushed him out the door. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I always have trouble sleeping in new places. That night at the Songs, I slept terribly. I had a bunch of fragmented dreams. I even saw Paul from 3 years ago. He hasn't changed much. Back then, he was just like he is now, cold, distant, with hard to get written all over him. But I didn't care. I found out his name, his hobbies, and then accidentally ran into him every day. Finally, I couldn't stand my heart being jerked around anymore and decided to just shoot my shot. I cornered him on the track where I ran into him every day. Paul. Do you want to try? Try what, Emily? Paul smiled. He stood in front of me, hands in his pockets, a good half head taller. I was so nervous, I didn't even realize we had both, despite never being formally introduced, just used each other's names. Try being my boyfriend. I know you probably don't know me, and you think this is random, but I'm a really, really great person. You'd be losing out if you missed this. I said it all in one breath, hyping myself up so I wouldn't lose my nerve. Hearing me, Paul's eyes filled with amusement. Okay, girlfriend. We started dating that day. At first, I worried he'd be cold, that he wouldn't like affection, that he was just a jerk. What if I was just infatuated with his face? How would I get out of it? But my worries vanished quickly. Paul wasn't cold and distant at all. In fact, he was an amazing boyfriend. And very clingy. During winter and summer breaks, when we were in different cities, he'd secretly fly to my hometown to see me. Sometimes, afraid of bothering me, he'd just watch me from a distance and leave. And when we were apart, he'd text me constantly, Emily, are you thinking of me? Emily, did you think of me while you were eating? Emily, are you thinking of me while you sleep? I'd always answer yes, and I was so curious. Why do you keep asking if I'm thinking of you? Is this what all couples are like? Is there nothing else to talk about? He was silent for a long time on the other end, before finally, slowly, typing a reply, because I'm thinking of you. And when I'm missing you, I want you to be missing me too. To Paul, this was a perfectly synchronized love. A magnetic connection that only faded, in tune lovers could have. When I saw his answer, my heart melted. I couldn't believe such a pure, handsome guy actually existed. I grabbed my phone, quickly typed out a reply, and sent it. Then I threw the covers over my head, closed my eyes, and went to sleep. I miss you too. Every day. I woke up early, rubbing my slightly swollen eyes. I'd been crying. I went down to see Ryan. Morning. What happened to your eyes? Ryan was shocked. Stayed up all night reading a sad novel. I gave him a random excuse. We're just a business transaction. I was sure Ryan wouldn't dig deeper. And even if he did, I had no obligation to tell him. The Song family, probably to avoid the headache of seeing me, was absent from breakfast. It was just the three of us from this villa. Since there was no one to perform for, I might as well enjoy the food. But can someone tell me why, at this enormous table, I am once again sandwiched? I flashed a death glare smile. Don't you two feel a little crowded? Are there no other seats? I want to sit with you, Emily, Ryan said, still stuck in his act. And you? I glared at Paul, not holding back. Go sit somewhere else. It was all his fault I had those dreams and my eyes were swollen. Ryan gasped, lowering his voice. Emily, you can't talk to my uncle like that. Uncle, don't be mad. Emily's just like that. She doesn't mean anything by it. Ryan was pretending to be a peacemaker, but he was really just trying to make Paul hate me more. That way, when his real girlfriend showed up, his uncle wouldn't be so cold to her. Brilliant. Paul, however, acted as if he wasn't the one being told off. He just ate gracefully. Miss Emily, if I recall, this is the Song family home. At that, my fire immediately went out. Frustrated, I picked up my plate and stomped over to the complete opposite corner of the table, the furthest point from Paul. For my 200,000, I'll endure. The thought of 200,000 made me look back at my client, Ryan. He was like a walking ATM. I was already planning where I'd travel with the money. The more I thought about it, the more excited I got, and I couldn't stop smiling. But as my smile grew wider, someone else's face got darker, like he'd lost something precious. The clinking of silverware got louder. Paul took a breath, put his fork and knife down, and said through gritted teeth. Is Miss Emily's eyesight bad? It's perfect, I snapped. Good enough to be a pilot. I don't know what his problem was, but he kept going. You should focus on your food when you're eating. Staring at people isn't a good habit. I put my own silverware down and stared at Paul for 2 solid seconds. Then I said, same to you, uncle. How would he know I was staring at someone if he wasn't staring at me? Ryan looked back and forth, sensing the weird vibe but not quite able to figure it out. It's my girlfriend's birthday today. I have to go. Ryan informed me of this disaster 5 minutes before leaving. I was speechless. Why didn't you say so earlier? Leaving me here all alone. Even for a pro, this is awkward. And with him gone, this huge house just has me and Paul. I'm actually a little scared. Scared Paul will get revenge, murder me in my sleep, and bury me in the yard. Just kidding. Ha. You have to come back tonight, I warned him, over and over, terrified he wouldn't. As he was leaving, I even waved goodbye dramatically. Remember to come back early. As I was tearfully bidding him farewell, I felt a chill run down my spine, like something was creeping up on me. I spun around and saw Paul, standing there silently. That torn up? Yeah. I am, I shot back. Paul stepped closer. What's he got that I don't? He took a step, I took one back. Until my back hit the wall. I put my hands on his chest to stop him. Please maintain a safe personal distance. Paul ignored me, grabbed my wrist, and put my hand on his waist. His other hand pressed into my back, pulling me closer. We've been much closer than this. What's there to be afraid of? Emily, you still haven't answered me. What does he have that I don't? We were so close my cheeks started to burn. Whether from embarrassment or anger, I wasn't sure. I'm Ryan's girlfriend now. He calls you uncle. I emphasized the messed up relationship again, trying to shock some sense into him. But Paul just stared, stubbornly waiting for my answer. After a few seconds, I dodged the question and started talking nonsense. He's young, he's good in bed, and he lasts all night. Happy? Now let go. Emily. Paul's eyes narrowed, his voice low and dangerous. When we were dating, you were 19, you were young. We never. You know. How do you know he's better than me? My brain was short-circuiting. Is he actually comparing? The hand on my waist tightened. Paul's eyes were obsessive, and the words tumbled out before he could think. So let's find out right now who's better. I've already forgotten what I said half an hour ago. I just remember slapping Paul across the face and running. Now, I'm sitting in my room, cooling off, thinking about what to do next. I sat there until evening, when I got a text from that jerk Ryan, not coming back tonight. Good luck. Rage boiled up. I grabbed my phone and typed, are you even human? The second before I hit send, the thought of 200,000 brought me back to my senses. I deleted the text and replied, K. I hope he could feel my cold, bitter resentment. Since the boss wasn't here to supervise, I figured I'd slack off a bit. I washed off all the heavy makeup, put on a face mask, and got ready for a good night's sleep. In that hazy state, half asleep, I kept dreaming someone was whispering in my ear. 1 minute, asking why I broke up with him. The next, asking if I still loved him. I didn't want to answer. He even started brushing the hair away from my ear, and I felt a damp, warm touch on my earlobe. I was so annoyed, I just mumbled something to shut him up. Love you, okay? God, you're so annoying. The world went quiet again. Satisfied, I went back to my dream. I was just dreaming my dad was making me his pork stew. Do you know how good it smelled? And a whole crowd of people was trying to steal it. My brother, my sister, aunts, uncles, everyone. They were surrounding it. I almost didn't get a single bite. It was terrifying. I woke up, remembering it was just me and Paul in the house. I grabbed the first comfy clothes I could find and went downstairs. I didn't expect to walk into the dining room and find the entire Song family, minus Ryan, sitting there. Every single one of them was staring at me, their faces grim. I had a bad feeling. This was an interrogation. Did they already have a family meeting? Are they about to kick me out? Come, eat breakfast. Paul waved me over, acting completely normal. Oh. I meekly walked over. There weren't many seats left. I picked one that had an empty chair between me and Paul. The moment I sat down, Paul suddenly stood up. He calmly, in front of everyone, pulled the empty chair out from between us, and then dragged me, chair and all, right next to him. I was stunned. The Song family's faces got even darker. Paul sat back down, unbothered, and announced to everyone, I'm in love with Emily. I'm going to win her back and make her my girlfriend. Are you insane? I looked at Paul like he'd lost his mind. Do you know what you're saying? The key point is, in everyone else's eyes, I'm Ryan's girlfriend. Paul was completely composed. I know. This is a well-considered decision. Besides, pursuing someone is a one-sided action. It doesn't require two people to agree. Ryan is one thing, but why you two? Ryan's mom started, but couldn't finish. What a mess. Ryan's dad's face was as black as a pot. If you still see me as your brother, take that back. Fine. Then I'll call you Mr. Song. Paul was in full-on rebellion mode. Hearing his full name from his younger brother's mouth, the dad exploded. You little brat. I didn't get to eat breakfast. The whole thing turned into chaos. No one touched the food. If I started eating, I'd stick out like a sore thumb, so I just sat there. In the end, the now completely unhinged Paul successfully dragged me away from the battlefield. Paul dropped the act. He took me straight to his room. He sat me down at his computer, pulled up a chat window, and opened a file. A fresh batch of photos filled the screen. It was Ryan and a sweet smiling girl. Holding hands, getting close, even kissing. High definition, no filter, zero Photoshop. One look and you could tell this was Ryan's real girlfriend. He had a total simp smile on his face. You're a pervert. Why are you taking creepy pictures of people? Paul, who had clearly expected me to burst into tears and was preparing a shoulder for me to cry on, gritted his teeth. Is that the point? He's cheating on you. Don't you see that? Oh, right. Cheating. I nodded, instantly switching to a sad face. What am I going to do? Paul turned my face towards him, his expression deadly serious. Break up with him. Be with me. That doesn't seem right. Stealing his own nephew's girlfriend, just like that. He's really something. There's nothing wrong with it, Emily, Paul whispered, like a devil on my shoulder. He's the one who did something wrong first. And when people do something wrong, they deserve to be punished. Paul's eyes never left mine, as if terrified of missing the slightest change in my expression. His gaze traveled from my eyes, down my nose, and settled on my lips. Neither of us spoke, but the distance between us was shrinking. Our breath mingled. Just as our lips were about to touch, my sanity snapped back. I slapped my hand over Paul's mouth. Wait. I need to think about it. Hearing this, Paul's eyes lit up, with no sadness at being interrupted. Okay. Emily can take her time. Even if you don't want to break up with him, that's okay. He thought for a long time before steeling himself. Ryan betrayed you first. So if you get with me, it's just punishment for his infidelity. So, you shouldn't feel any pressure. Is he trying to comfort me or himself? Who exactly has more psychological pressure here? When Ryan came home, he had no idea everything had changed. He just felt the atmosphere was weird and oppressive, but he didn't know why. His clever little brain thought about it and concluded I must have pulled off another big move. He thought it was great. This money was well spent. His mom saw her son's excited face and didn't know what to say. Ryan. Oh, dear. Mom, why the long face? Ryan grinned. Emily and I are great. She's just a little eccentric. She's a good person. Paul had already shown the family the cheating photos. His mom knew Ryan was in the wrong. But she still felt bad. Maybe you should just break up. You're not right for each other. Ryan secretly rejoiced. Then who do you think is right for me, Mom? His mom, seeing a possible opening, rushed to say, anyone. Mom would be happy with anyone. I don't care about family background or if she's prim and proper. Just someone else. The more she spoke, the more guilty she sounded. She had no idea how to explain to her son what had happened. Oh, Mom, I get it. Ryan was ecstatic, but tried to play it cool. I'll think about it. Just then, Paul walked down the stairs. He looked at Ryan, his expression calm, but with a hint of contempt. After Paul passed, Ryan sidled up to his mom, conflicted. Mom, did you see the look Uncle gave me? It was like he was silently cussing me out. Haha, Ryan, you're overthinking it. His mom's hand, holding her teacup, was shaking. She had sacrificed so much for the peace of this family. She'd told more lies today than in her entire life. Really? Anyway, where's Emily? I need to talk to her. Ryan, figuring the mission was a success, was ready for me to leave. But his mom heard this and immediately held him back. Don't worry about Emily right now. Mom hasn't seen you in so long, I missed you. We saw each other 2 days ago. Don't question it. That's just how moms are. Oh. Ryan accepted this. Okay, I'll hang out with you for a bit. I'll talk to her after dinner. I don't know if the Song family just has a high tolerance for chaos, but by the time we all gathered at the dinner table again, they were acting like nothing had happened. Ryan was still the devoted boyfriend. "Emily, sit." I obediently sat. A second later, Paul sat down in the seat to my left. Before Ryan could make a move, Paul had already placed a shrimp on my plate. "Your favorite." Ryan's face was a giant question mark. "Wait, whose girlfriend is she?" "Ryan, eat your food. Didn't you say you were hungry?" His mom interrupted her son's train of thought. Ryan nodded. Emichim. He really was hungry. Paul, on the other hand, wasn't even pretending anymore. He spent almost the entire meal just staring at me. "Emily, are you having a good time here?" Ryan, in a sudden fit of something, started asking. I nodded. "Great. Good, good. I'm glad you're getting along with my family. That's a relief." Ryan kept talking as he ate. "That project I told you about is done. I can send you the final payment in the next couple of days." "That's great." I was shocked. "It's done? Well, I guess I have Paul's little interruption to thank for that." Suddenly, I felt my left hand being grabbed under the table. It was squeezed, not too hard, not too soft. I turned and saw a stone-faced Paul, who had put down his chopsticks and was secretly holding my hand. No one at the table was talking. Just the clinking of silverware and quiet chewing. I pinched him back, trying to tell him to behave. But he took it as an opening, getting bolder, forcing his fingers between mine until our hands were tightly laced together. "Uncle," I said softly. "Why aren't you eating? Let go and use your right hand to eat." "I'm not hungry," Paul replied warmly. "Oh. Not hungry, Uncle?" Ryan chimed in. "No appetite? You should go rest. It must be tiring just sitting here." "No need." Paul, who had been perfectly pleasant, suddenly felt the provocation. "I like sitting here." Ryan didn't get it, but he respected it. After dinner, I locked myself in my room to cool down. I got a video call from my dad. The second I answered, my parents' happy, smiling faces filled the screen. "Hey, baby girl. What have you been up to?" "Oh, nothin'. Just work, lying around on my phone, you know. The usual." My dad pressed. "Are you happy? Have you missed your two old empty nesters?" Yes, I've missed you so much." I laughed. "You're so young, how are you empty nesters?" "I'm the lonely child here." "Nope," my dad corrected. "You're the lonely adult." We started in on our usual playful banter. My mind instantly went back to the old days, to those easy, happy times. We chatted for about 10 minutes before they had guests and had to hang up. Before he left, my dad didn't forget to remind me, "Don't put so much pressure on yourself at work. Being happy, healthy, and safe is the most important thing." "Okay, I know. Love you guys." After the call, I closed my eyes, lying on the bed, and just thought. I thought about my sophomore year, when I met Paul, who was a senior. I thought about my junior year, when Paul was already busy with the Song family's new branch. It was a tech startup. Even with the Song family's backing, it wasn't easy to get a foothold in the city. He was so busy. That was also the year a rumor started spreading like wildfire in my hometown. Someone had taken the news of my relationship back home. But they weren't saying he was a young, successful heir. They said he was a fat, greasy old man. They said I was sleeping my way to the top. That I was taking this old man's money and spending it on boy toys. It was so detailed. There were even blurry photos. The rumor eventually reached my dad. That day, he had only heard me, home on break, say I wanted his pork stew. He'd gone to the market early in the morning. On his way back, he overheard an acquaintance talking about the rumors. He got angry, wanted to confront them, but he was in such a hurry he got into a car accident. I don't remember how I got to the hospital. I just remember the doctor saying he might end up in a vegetative state. Finally, after a long investigation, the police slowly pieced together the cruel truth. Emily, did you? My mom, trembling, asked me the awful question. My tears just fell. I didn't know how to explain. I'm sorry, Emily. Don't be mad at Mom. My mom frantically wiped my tears, her voice broken with pain. It's not that I don't believe you. I'm just so worried you were scammed. No matter what, Mom will always be on your side. My dad was lying in a hospital bed, and we didn't know if he'd ever wake up. Our little family of 3 was shattered. I knew she was just desperate for the truth. We held each other and cried for a long, long time. Long enough for the sun to set and rise, for footsteps to come and go in the hallway. Thankfully, a year after the accident, my dad woke up. I was still lucky. There was a knock on the door. I slowly opened my eyes, pulling myself from my thoughts. I let out a slow breath and murmured, "It's all in the past. Everything is going to be okay." "Who is it?" I opened the door. Unsurprisingly, it was Paul. To what do I owe the pleasure of this late-night visit? "Emily, are you into that whole, traditional girlfriend thing?" Paul pursed his lips. "Because I can be." "Well, I'm not." I refused. "What's this traditional stuff? It's giving me the creeps." Paul ignored me and just made his request. "I want to come in and sit for a bit." I stepped aside to let him in. I closed the door, and the second I turned around, I was pulled into a strong, warm hug. "Just let me hold you for a minute," Paul mumbled, his voice thick. "Is he crying? Well, in that case, I guess I can let him." "Emily, did you miss me?" This time, Paul didn't wait for an answer. The words just started pouring out. "I've missed you so much. Every single day. I never even knew I loved you that much. It hurt. I couldn't sleep. When I did sleep, I'd dream you came back to me. You'd say we were getting back together. But then I'd wake up, and you were still gone." My heart twisted with his words. My eyes started to sting. I didn't know what to say. I just gently patted his back. He started rambling. I don't know if he was talking to me or himself. "That day, I was secretly planning to come find you. I wanted to see you right now. And then I heard your voice. And I saw you. Standing right in front of me. You finally came to meet my family. But as someone else's girlfriend. Emily. You have no idea how jealous I am of him. You don't know." I felt a hot tear land on my neck. I slowly wrapped my arms around Paul. My voice was choked. "Paul. I missed you too. So much. So much. I think I'm strong enough now to face the storm." I didn't want to hide it anymore. I started to tell him, bit by bit, what happened 3 years ago. "Paul, you might not understand. No one can understand." My tears were falling freely now. For Emily at 23, this is just a story. It's something in the past, something I can talk about. But for Emily at 20, it was all my fault. My family almost. I can't just forgive myself. All I could do was shut myself off. Run away. "I'm so sorry, Emily. I didn't know. I had no idea." Paul's face was pale, he looked even worse than I did. "I failed you. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, Paul." I cut off his self-blame. And it's not my fault either. I've slowly come to understand. The police found the truth. The person who started the rumors was caught a long time ago. It was a guy from my neighborhood, from my middle school. He'd asked me out once, and I rejected him. Unfortunately, we ended up at the same university. He was about to start harassing me again when he found out I was dating the campus legend, Paul. We were even called the campus couple by a lot of students because we looked so good together. He knew he couldn't compete with Paul. The jealousy practically ate him alive. Corruption breeds in dark, disgusting places. 1,000 miles away, in my hometown, the cockroaches started to multiply, and with the help of the rats, they ran wild. So, it was the fault of the cockroaches and the rats. Not the humans. He got expelled. And he went to jail. He's going to be crawling in the darkness for the rest of his life, I said, certain. Paul's eyes were red, tormented by guilt. He silently swore to himself, he would make sure that guy's life was hell. So, you broke up with me? Out of guilt. I nodded. I was in such a bad place. I didn't know how to face life. I even thought, if my dad didn't wake up because of this, then I. Thank God. Thank God, Paul repeated. Thank God, I found you again. The first day after getting back together with Paul, we just held each other and slept. The second day, Paul started seducing me. His brain was elsewhere. I'll admit, I couldn't resist. The third day, I feel like something's not right. He never asked me about Ryan. The next time Paul got clingy, I held him off. You're being weird. I'm not. Why didn't you ask about Ryan? We're having such a good time. Why bring him up? It's bad luck. I stared at Paul for a long time. Something was definitely off. This guy. He doesn't actually think. He's the other man who successfully won me over, does he? Paul got nervous under my stare. Ryan cheated. What we did is nothing compared to that. Why are you thinking about him when you're with me? You're not having second thoughts, are you? Paul got more and more agitated. It's too late to regret it. And with that, he just pounced, pulling me into his arms. I'm not. The rest of my words were smothered by his mouth. His lips met mine. This was not the gentle Paul from yesterday. The customer service was gone, replaced by biting and a desperate hunger. Don't. The don't had barely left my mouth before he got more aggressive. Don't say, don't, Emily. Am I not as good as him? He doesn't even know what you like to eat. He doesn't love you like I do. Until late that night, I was dizzy, and I cursed, ouch. You dog, stop biting. When I woke up, Paul was back to his prim and proper self, patiently waiting for me to get up. Was Emily satisfied? I think you were the one who was satisfied. I was, very satisfied. Paul chuckled. I rolled my eyes and finally said what I'd been meaning to. It was fake. Me and Ryan. He paid me to be his fake girlfriend, to torture his parents, your brother and sister-in-law. Once they couldn't take it anymore, he was going to bring his real girlfriend home. In short, I was just the warm-up act. Paul was stunned. He could not believe the human brain could come up with such a plan. Ryan really does have a problem. When he fell down the stairs as a kid, he must have hit his head. I was curious. How'd he fall down the stairs? Oh, Paul thought. I had just learned to walk. The nanny wasn't looking, and I tried to take him downstairs to play. But I was too short to press the elevator button. So I just pushed his stroller down the stairs. It flipped. He's damn lucky to be alive. The day we announced our relationship to everyone, it was surprisingly smooth. My parents were just happy I'd found someone I liked. They wanted my life to be full of meaningful people, to be rich and colorful. On the other side, even the Song family accepted it with smiles. I secretly poked Paul. How'd your family get on board so fast? I gave them the short version of what happened. Paul explained, but don't worry, I pinned all the blame on Ryan. I gave him a thumbs up. You're good. I felt zero guilt about this. It was all Ryan's fault for changing the deal at the last minute. He only sent me the $80,000 final payment. When he found out I was with Paul, he had the nerve to say the other $100,000 was a finder's fee for hooking us up. That's $100,000. What kind of finder's fee is that high? As I stared at my bank account, unable to look away, Paul leaned in. That's it? Give me a kiss, Emily. I'll transfer you something bigger. My eyes lit up. How big? I don't know. That depends on how well Emily behaves. Paul started to play coy. At least 4 or 5 more zeros. Wow, that's so much. Paul nodded slightly. Emicham. It's all yours. And I'm yours, too.